I have 6 o'clock now. We will call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is a public hearing. Would the clerk read the public hearing notice, please?
Larry Gerbofsky, doing business as Easy Out Incorporated, request a conditional use permit to allow for the installation and operation of an electronic variable message display at 3540 Plover Road in the town of Grand Rapids, Wisconsin, parcel number 0700154J in section 10, township 22 north, range 6 east, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin.
Is the applicant present? The applicant is not present. Oh, if anybody that wishes to speak in favor of the public hearing notice, please state your name and your address and what you want to talk about. Anybody to speak in favor? One more time, anybody to speak in favor? Hearing no one. Anyone that wishes to speak in opposition to the request, give your name. Is there anyone in opposition?
I'm not necessarily in opposition.
Okay, you can
Where,
speak to it.
where is the location exactly?
3540 Plover Road. So can somebody from the Plan Commission?
If you go out on Highway 54, heading towards like Menards, on the corner of 36th Street and Highway 54 is the exact location of where it's at. So you'd be past the Quick Trip, past the railroad tracks, then it would be on the corner where you would see the orange storage buildings, if you're familiar to that, on the right-hand side. It's that corner right there.
I guess my only possible concern would be, depending how close it is to an intersection or something, you have a flashing message board and people might be distracted looking at that, and then someone slowing down to come, turn in an intersection, they rear end them or something. So depending on the location, that would be a concern I guess I would have.
Okay, Supervisor Lumby is on the Plan Commission, and this came before the Plan Commission. So if she has any, when we speak on this item, she can bring that up. Anybody else to speak against it or to have any comments on it? Let me put it that. Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. We'll go into our regular meeting and it's scheduled, and we have the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could rise, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is roll call. My name is Bill Clemente, and I am a supervisor on Town of Grand Rapids Board, and
I am Patty Lumby. I'm the town supervisor of this board.
I'm Jason Warren. I am supervisor also on this board.
Amber France, supervisor as well.
okay, so now that we have had a roll call, the board members, we will appoint a person to be temporary chairman or to run this meeting. Does anybody have a motion on to who they would like to?
I'll
Okay.
make motion to approve Amber France to run this meeting.
Okay, there's a motion to have Amber France run this meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to run Amber France at this meeting. All those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that's unanimous. You may seat at the chair there. if you'd like. It's right in front of the camera.
She doesn't pick up.
Agenda item number 3 is approve the agenda for the meeting.
Madam Chair, not Chairman. Anyway, I would like to move item number 8 up on the agenda. If there's no objections.
Do we need a motion for that?
No,
We can just do it? Okay.
And approve the agenda as presented.
Okay. All right, then agenda item number 8 is consideration and possible action on filling vacancy on town board.
Are you gonna have public comment first?
No.
After, moving it up to the third agenda item would be, the public comment will come after this agenda item.
Madam Chairman, I would like to make a motion to appoint Amber France as the chairperson for the term of office.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
And that was a vote by 5 of us, correct?
4 of you.
You get to vote on that.
Oh,
correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was busy writing, yes.
Right.
Yes, aye.
So it was a unanimous consent.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we now talk about there is no vacancy now. Now there is a vacancy, and I'd like to see that at the next meeting, if that's the wishes. I mean, that's up to you.
I would agree with that. I think at the next meeting, I think working as a town board, we can accept letters of intent to fill that position, and we can consider that at the next meeting.
Yes, thank you. Just for clarification, then, anyone that was interested in the filling of the vacancy of your vacancy, the town supervisor, they would just need to submit a letter of interest, and then from those letters, we would then select the filling of that vacancy.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
just so everybody's aware of kind of the process, is there going to be a cutoff date for those that are interested to submit their letter of interest for the position?
Yes.
Friday before? Or?
But yeah, I would agree with the Friday before. Is everyone
What date would that
consensus
be?
with that?
The day before July's
Yep,
board meeting.
July's.
Would that be the 10th? I'm sorry.
The Friday
7th.
before, it'd
So
be
the
July the 7th,
7th.
would be the last day of receiving letters of interest.
And we are only open till noon on Fridays, so noon on Friday, if that's
July
okay.
7th, yep.
Would there also be the acceptance of the current letters of interest that were received? Because we
The ones
received
we
one.
received?
Yes,
Yeah, I would think so, yes.
thank you.
Okay. All right. Oh,
So we
go
have,
ahead.
so we've got a first for doing the vacancy at the next meeting, or don't we, are we not making a motion just where
I mean,
everybody's?
that could be a
Okay.
referral
Okay.
on next agenda items. I think it's just a conversation
Okay.
at this point on
Right.
on
Alright.
what your process will be.
Okay.
I think there was all consensus
Okay.
of it, so.
All right.
Okay, sounds good. All right, next agenda item is approved minutes of the May 9th, 2023 town board meeting and May 25th, 2023 special board meeting.
May I please? I would like to actually abstain from voting on the approval of the minutes, only because of the fact that after I reviewed the minutes, it's not that I disagree with them or agree with them. I truly just didn't quite understand everything that had transpired. So I guess being that there is a quorum to be able to accept or deny them, I'd like to abstain from voting on that.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the 25th meeting.
Okay, Bill first, is there a second?
And the May 9th.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
And one abstention. Thank you.
All right, public comment. People wishing to address the board will be limited to 2 minutes each, with public comment limited to a total of 30 minutes.
And just because we have so many people here, if you are going to speak, please stand, state your name and address, because we've got quite a full house here, so that
Can you make sure everybody signed in?
Yes, and did everyone sign in?
there is a sign-in sheet at the back there, so just if you are, make sure you are signed in if you did not sign in.
Okay, anyone for public comment?
Gil Layton, 2741 32nd Street South. I really think that the town board should consider holding a special election. You've already filled the chair, at least hold a special election. Probably, in most likelihood, it would be one of you on the board that, even if you would have had an election, would have had the experience to fill the chair position. But to fill the unexpired term of Amber, I'd like to see hold a special election. I think it's fair to the people. It's what the people want, rather than just appointing somebody to that position.
Thank you.
Evening, Bob Pyatt, 3420 37th Street South. I want to address the board regarding the May 25th board meeting. As a resident and also as a town employee, I'm very disappointed with the way that meeting evolved. With a motion on the floor and a second, Supervisor Clendenning broke the Roberts Rules of Order and prohibited the board from voting on a motion, even after the consultation of Attorney Flanagan, who repeatedly informed him he had no powers to do so. Over the years of attending board meetings, I've seen Supervisor Clendenning repeatedly scold other board members about policy, procedure, quorums, etc. It is my opinion he was clearly trying to bully the board. I believe the rest of the board, in conjunction with the town's attorney, should turn in Supervisor Clendenning into the DA's office to pursue charges for his misconduct. With his years of experience on the board, he clearly knew what he was doing. It was also disappointing that no other board member called him out that night on his behavior. Lastly, I'd like to thank former Chairman Jeremy Eichhorn for his service to the town. His great business and management skills will be sorely missed. I wish him well in his future endeavors. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Jan Peranto. I live at 3021 69th Street South, and I serve as your elections deputy clerk here for the town of Grand Rapids. I am honored to serve this community in that fashion, and especially honored to have alleviated Lisa Dotter's workload through that service. Since I began working in this building more regularly, I have primarily been an observer of an excellent staff who deals with more than they should. Those who are not involved in day-to-day workings of the town of Grand Rapids cannot understand the sacrifice that these workers have made both physically and mentally. First, this building is old and does not meet the needs of today's municipal standards. Space for private and public meetings such as this, evidence storage for the police department, or town record storage, elections, or general workspace are severely lacking, and yet the growth of the town continues. The enabling of home buyers who use our low tax rate to sleep in this community and work and spend elsewhere does nothing to provide us with resources to improve our facilities and provide adequate income for those who work for the town. Second, while the immense amount of work falls upon a few workers, the physical and mental toll placed upon them has nearly cost them their lives. It is time to support them rather than place unrealistic expectations on these workers who are the reason this town has flourished. The board has lacked foresight to keep up with the times and needs to develop serious plans to do two things. One, build a municipal building that meets today's needs. And two, consider the minimal manpower you have to do the overwhelming work that must be accomplished to maintain the town of Grand Rapids. I implore you to act immediately upon these two directives before much is lost. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay. Moving on to the next agenda item then is monthly reports from departments. Fire Department, Chief Hyde.
All right, good evening, board, town residents. We're currently staffed with 45 fire and EMS members, 5 non-structural, 8 EMS members, but 20 total trained to do EMS. Our calls for the last month, we had 43 calls for service, 33 were EMS, 10 were fire. We had 5 fires in Grand Rapids, 0 in Saratoga, 1 in the town of Grant, and 4 mutual aids. The 4 mutual aids consisted of Wisconsin Rapids and Rome. We had a motor vehicle accident and a plane accident, and 2 wildland brush calls, and 1 lift assist. Our training information consisted of the following. Our EMS group did their CPR and Lucas refresher, and our fire department did Project Lifesaver and a rescue boat operation training. Also, our officers and a few other members went and saw a special presentation by Stevens Point Fire Chief J.B. Moody on the Stevens Point high-rise fire from a couple years ago. So we had 1 monthly meeting, 4 training meetings, 1 officer meeting. Public relation, we continue to host those Versity blood drives. This last month, we're starting to get, now they're giving us the breakdown. We had 24 whole blood donations and 5 double reds donations. So that equated to, according to the director from Versity, 24 donors helps 3 people, 5 donors did double reds, that helps 6 people. So from the blood drive, we benefited 102 people in Wisconsin. So those blood drives are every other month. Next one is coming up in July. Smoke detector program, we still are moving on that. We have 3 homes we did this month, 4 new address signs, and our safety department report, we had 1 injury this last month. So any questions from the board?
Serious injury or?
No, just obviously because of hip, I can't say much. So, anything else from the board? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Police Department.
Good evening, everyone. Great to see you. Good turnout here. Love it. Okay. Okay, for the month of May, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 411 calls for service. Hang on a second. Grand Rapids Police Department handled 411 calls for service during the month of May, and that compared to 368 calls for service in May of 2022. That's about 11.6% increase in calls, and the board members have a breakdown of those calls. The police department issued 49 traffic citations, 45 municipal ordinance citations, and 49 written warnings for the month of May. On May 4th, Sergeant Drinkwine and I, along with members of the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department, the Wisconsin Rapids Fire Department, participated in an active shooter incident managed tabletop exercise at Wisconsin Rapids Fire Department number 1. This tabletop exercise was conducted to coordinate responses from local law enforcement and fire department in an active threat that would happen in our area. On May 6th, the Grand Rapids Police Department and the Grand Rapids Auxiliary Police, in cooperation with the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department, the Grand Rapids Lions Club, the Wisconsin Rapids Freemasons Lodge, and the Wisconsin Rapids Auxiliary Police conducted a bike rodeo at the Grand Rapids Lions Club. All area children, grades K through 6, were eligible to attend. They tested their riding skills on the bike rodeo course and learned bike safety essentials. They also had free helmet fittings and bike safety inspections on site there at the Grand Rapids Lions Club. On May 11th, members of the Grand Rapids Police Department completed the basic life support, CPR, AED, and Lucas device refresher training at the Grand Rapids Fire Department that Fire Chief Pyatt already mentioned. All officers are now current for the basic life support certification. On May 12th, the Grand Rapids Auxiliary Police provided overnight security at Mid-State Technical College for the spring graduation ceremony that was held on May 13th. They assisted with overnight protection of the stage and equipment that was set up in the parking lot there at Mid-State. On May 17th, officers of the Grand Rapids Police Department assisted Grant Elementary School with their end-of-the-year 5K walk-run. Officers provided crossing guard duties at South Park Road and 80th Street South for the students, teachers, and others participating in the event. And then last month I provided our drug take-back participation with Wood County Sheriff's Office, the Rapids Police Department at the Pick and Save. And again, we were able to collect over 198.8 pounds of unwanted, expired, and unused pharmaceuticals at the Pick and Save collection site, Wisconsin Rapids. And then we also collected 40 pounds at our collection bin here inside the office at the front counter. National statistics have been posted on their website, and again, Wisconsin led the nation with 55,472 pounds. That's approximately 28 tons of pharmaceuticals that were turned in since the last fall's collection. Texas came in second with 47,695 pounds, and California was third at 40,573 pounds. The national total for the take-back event was 663,725 pounds. That's 332 tons of pharmaceuticals. The main thing is it gets it off the street so they're not being used secondarily illegal, and it also keeps it out of the landfills and out of our water supplies, because these drugs are then taken to certified incineration points across the country to be incinerated. Again, feel free to stop by my office anytime if you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions. In closing, I too would like to thank Chairman Eichhorn for his service to this community. His leadership while he was chairman, I think, is unprecedented since the time that I've been here. And not only his leadership, but his forward-looking leadership, trying to move this town forward and not be stuck in the 70s, okay? So my hat's off to him. For me personally, it was a sad moment when I heard about his resignation, and I hope to have more leadership like that, looking forward and trying to move this community and this town forward. Thank you. Any questions from the board?
In that 105 traffic stops, is that part of the click it or ticket, or what's going on?
We did participate in click it or ticket. I don't have the data yet from what our specific count was for that thing, but that would include, if you're looking at the incidents on there, that count would also include click it and ticket, correct?
And that overtime, and it has to be overtime officers, and that's paid by the state, correct?
No, that's not overtime for click it and ticket. That's just a national incentive.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
That does, there's other grant, and Wood County is the oversight agency for south end of the county here, and that's a totally different grant. That's where the reimbursement for overtime occurs under that grant. The Click It and Ticket used to be for equipment. If you participated in Click It and Ticket and those other national drive sober, things like that, you had money that was available to buy equipment. That was phased out several years ago because I guess the federal government quit funding it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, treasurer's report.
Okay, for the month of May, our receipts were $41,007.46. Our disbursements were $195,855.85. The cash on hand at the end of the month was $1,571,210.37. The breakdown fairly close to that is our regular day-to-day checking, $105,483.39. Our repo account has a balance of $481,345.04. Our money market at Prevail has a balance of $330,425.09. Our tax account has $451.30. That includes both the regular checking for taxes and repo, for a total of $917,704.82. We have a balance in our ARPA account of $672,958.60, for an overall balance of $1,590,663.42.
Any questions on the board?
I have one. How is the new computer system working with the?
We
the
have
accounting part?
not had a chance to do anything with it since our last training.
Okay.
We're working on it. Amanda's been inputting employee things that she can, but Lisa and I have not had any time whatsoever.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next agenda item is consideration and possible action on resolution 2023-05, conditional use permit for Larry Grubowski doing business as Easy Out Incorporated to allow for the installation and operation of an electronic variable message display at 3540 Plover Road in the town of Grand Rapids, Wisconsin, parcel number 0700154J.
I'm going to make the motion to approve resolution 2023-05.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Madam Chair, for purposes of discussion, if I may, just a couple points. So the Plan Commission has been meeting over the last several months related to this sign. Just draw your attention to two documents that were submitted, one being the sign permit application. You're going to see that with a lot of different types of signs. The other one being, of course, here, the conditional use permit application. Conditional use permit application is required in this case because of the electronic variable message display sign type. And so at its meeting on June 12th, the Plan Commission did review the conditional use permit application and made the recommendation to the town board to approve that application with one condition. You'll see that noted on the resolution. Somewhat related to the comment that was made this evening, the Plan Commission put in place a recommendation to approve this with the condition that the applicant provide the town of Grand Rapids with proof of approval from the state of Wisconsin DOT for placement of the electronic variable message display sign. That has been communicated to the applicant, and as I understand it, the applicant is agreeable to doing that and will be working starting tomorrow with getting that approval. So if that is a condition that you all are comfortable with placing, as I understand it, the applicant is agreeable to being subject to that.
Yep.
So, I would like to know, so it was not done, there was not prior approval or looking into it, so it's a good thing we're having them check that.
I would agree. It does not sound like there was, but the applicant is perfectly fine with proceeding that and getting that to us so it can go on the property file.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next agenda item is consideration and possible action on event permit for the Southwood County Humane Society 5K9 Walk Run Tailgate, September 23rd, 2023.
I will make a motion to approve, Madam Chair.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next agenda item is consideration and possible action on water event permit for aqua skiers to close Lake Wazucha for the State Water Ski Show Tournament, July 20th through the 23rd, 2023.
I'll make a motion for the closing of the water event permit for aqua skiers for the water ski show, July 20 through the 23rd of 2023.
I will second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Next agenda item is consideration and possible action on temporary Class B liquor license for the State Water Ski Show Tournament, July 19th through the 23rd, 2023.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve.
Okay. Is there a second?
I can second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. 12th agenda item is consideration and possible action on event permit for Central Wisconsin Car Cruise on August 5th, 2023.
Madam Chair, I will approve.
I'll
Okay.
second.
All right, any discussion?
Looks to me like this was the same route that they've had in the past.
No, move it on.
It is a little different
The touch.
in how so? Does anyone know?
Chief, oh, do you know?
I know. They had to reroute it because they had a roundabout starting the first week of August, and then 54, between County Truck U, between 54 and Anchor Bay is starting to get tore up this week. So between those two construction projects, they had to reroute. That flyer that we have on the counter in the town hall for our fire department event has the map, the current, this year's route on it, on that two-sided flyer.
Thanks.
Okay, any other discussion?
So this map that we have is not correct. Is that what we're saying? That this map is not correct?
No, what you have is what they
Yeah, that's
submitted.
correct. That one is correct.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. All right, agenda item number 13, consideration and possible action on 2023-2024 liquor license.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2023-2024 liquor license as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
I do have a question. There's actually, on the notes on the bottom of this, it was indicated that, unless I read it incorrectly, that there was only one business that currently doesn't have a business but has a liquor license, but actually there's two.
Well, Mickey's has a location, though. He has a premise. Lance doesn't have a premise. That's the
Oh, I
difference.
see. Okay,
Yep,
that's
it's the same
difference.
as,
Okay,
Mhm,
very
yep.
good. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
This is the list.
So there isn't any more liquor license
There are
available in the
currently-
town of Grand Rapids?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
we are full.
Can Can I just make one other comment? And this would be just a consideration for a future legislative potentially, and that is with the fact that we have no more liquor licenses available. The town may want to consider a continuation of business provision in your ordinance that would disallow people from sitting on licenses into perpetuity without having a premises.
And that has been discussed at this
It has,
board.
it has, but I think previously when it was discussed, it was when we had available licenses. And so I say that at this time because we don't have any available licenses.
Good point. Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda item number 14 is coordination and scheduling of date for town board road inspection.
Rick is here, can we ask him?
Yep. He's back there.
Yeah, he's back in the corner over there.
Rick, they're asking you when you're available.
When would you be? Yeah.
I won't be here, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we need to wait to schedule it, or schedule something?
So does he have vacation the rest of the week? I mean, the month, or?
No.
Mike, do you have a date
Do I have a date?
that you could take us on a road rev? Or
Pick the date.
pick a date, he says.
Okay.
We still want to do it in June, correct? Okay. So I am open Tuesday, June 20th. Actually, anytime that whole next week, I could do something. Is there any day available with the rest of you?
What's the date again?
It'd be the week of June 19th, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Say
I'm
the
available the 21st.
19th or the 21st work best for me as well.
Can't do it on the 19th.
Jason, would you do the 21st?
I have to take time off from work, but yes, I would make that work.
It would be like early afternoon, wouldn't it? It'd be, what time would we meet?
Could we do a 2 o'clock?
I know I'd have to take time off of work.
Or, I mean, later's fine with me too.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
I have no problem later.
Yeah.
4 o'clock, I get off of work, so I could be here at 4:15.
That would be great for me.
4:15 on the 21st?
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you get that right? 4:15 on the 21st.
Sounds good.
That is just for
Road ride.
a road ride.
All right, anything else on that one? Okay.
Amber, is there
Yeah.
any way to shut that fan off? It's really loud.
Just turn it up a couple degrees or
The plus.
It's a fire alarm.
Yeah. It has to run, if it's beyond the 74, it'll take a
Yeah.
bit for it to shut down.
Okay. All right, next agenda item is operator license applications.
I'll make a motion to approve the list.
make sure you
Yeah.
note the denial too, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the one denial, whatever, at the store here. Is that going through somebody, the police department, or?
The chief did all these, yep, and approved and denied.
You can second that.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Number 16 is May disbursement vouchers.
I did not have any questions.
Okay. Any questions at all? Okay. Okay. All right, next agenda item then is monthly reports from committees. Public Works. Public Works has not met.
Public Works has not met.
Right, Airport Commission? Did anyone attend in Jeremy's class?
Did anyone?
Jeremy did.
Jason?
Or Jason?
June
Jason.
1st, June 1st, the airport committee did meet at our airport. The minutes were approved from the 5/4/23 meeting. They had some activities that were discussed, like some winter cleanup and so on. And then also, they have some doors that need to be repaired, possible replacement on some of the hangars. They had a couple new leases that may be coming up. And then they also are in the process of hiring a consulting service for the airport. One figure that really stood out to me is $67,000 worth of fuel was sold in May. That's a lot of fuel. There also will be a pancake breakfast at the airport June 24th from 8 to 11, and the entire board and public was invited to that. Next meeting was slated for 11/9/23, November 9th, 2023.
November?
November 9th.
11/9/23.
Wow.
No, that's, would you like to do?
July.
It's July.
I'm sorry, Arnie.
It's July.
Yeah, July.
It's the first Thursday of the month, Doris.
I don't know where I got 11 from. It says July 3rd right here.
I think that's when they have
July
another fly-in
23.
breakfast or something like that.
Thank you for the correction.
And the meeting did start at 9 o'clock rather than 8 o'clock.
It started at 9 o'clock, yes.
But, and are you going back to the 8 o'clock meeting?
I believe it will be at 9 o'clock.
Okay, any questions? All right, recycling, solid waste, and water.
I'm going to schedule a meeting to start reviewing the solid waste contract that will be expiring at the end of the year. So that's coming up.
Okay. And Plan Commission?
Yes, we met last night and we ended up having 3 chicken permit applications, also 2 dog permit application, and of course the the conditional use permit that we had this evening with the Easy Out. And that was it.
All right, thank you. Public buildings, we did not meet, but we do need to schedule a meeting for follow-up. Did you have anything you wanted to share, Bill?
Yes. So, did it come in for the air permit from the health department? I had them come over. Did they do anything?
For the air?
Yes.
No. They said that after talking to somebody in Madison, their suggestion was to just get some dehumidifiers, HEPA filters for the furnace, change them more often, and see if that helps anything.
So that's gonna settle, you don't want the health department involved?
Well, we wanted them to. But after speaking to Madison about the machine, when they first came, they said they were going to get the machine, and then after speaking to Madison, it sounded like Madison said that they would just prefer we try those things instead.
And how about the sign out here? Did Rapid sign?
Not for a new sign, just that moving estimate that they had given us, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Legislative, we did not meet.
Are we going, on the legislative, is there items that could be discussed?
There are.
Public safety?
We have not met. We need to schedule a meeting ASAP.
Okay. Economic development, we did not meet. However, the Old Railroad right-of-way trail is now open. The gates are open. The signs have been put in. The trail signs, they've all been put in. There's still a few more steps like pedestrian crossing that need to be implemented yet, but for the most part, the gates are open, so it's usable. And we also need to meet.
So what would have to be completed for the crossing, did you say?
We still need to do the pedestrian crossing, but
Oh,
the
right.
gates have been opened.
Okay, so
Yeah.
mean like painting of the
Painting
road?
lines,
Okay.
yep, yep, yep.
Could you elaborate on where those gates are?
Yep, so on 32nd Street and then on 48th Street. So the
No
old
railroad
road right
gate.
away between there is open now. Yep, yep.
Is it posted as open?
The trail signs are out there and they show that the trail goes there, but once we get the pedestrian crossing out there, then we'll advertise it more as being open.
Thank you.
Yep. Personnel, no updates outside of what we're gonna discuss today in closed session. And WTA meeting.
Thank you. The WTA meeting, the last meeting was held May 19th, 2023. It was hosted by the town of Rudolph. Jeff Kistner was the speaker from the Division of Trade and Consumer Protection, and it was about scams. It was quite a long meeting. You'd be surprised the people just in Wood County that are getting scammed, and the highest amount is up to $6,800. And some of those people were present to verify it. It was a very interesting meeting. Nancy Vandermeer from the 70th Assembly District was there. She spoke. Mike Hollett from Senator Ron Johnson's office was there and attended the meeting. And the WTA Director, Steve Dickerson, was there, and he talked about the shared revenue. And the shared revenue is something that's very important. They passed it around. The towns are getting a fair share of shared revenue, and you can see it today from West Politics, is the fact that the town of Grand Rapids, from what I saw that was being going to be signed into law, was 15% more than they got the year before. And some other towns fared a little higher, but the towns are getting the majority of it, and I hope it passes. I think it went through the state today and for the governor's signature. And the next meeting will be on June 16th. That's this coming Friday, and it'll be at the town of Saratoga. And the speaker there will be the Wood County Sheriff, Sean Becker will be there. And at that meeting, we're having a drawing for two people for the Towns Association is going to be paying for two members of the town to go to the convention, and they'll pay for it. We did that last year, and it was surprising that a clerk got it and the chairman both got it from the same town. So, that's all I have. Any questions on it? Thank you.
Thank you. Next agenda item is reports from individual town board members. Bill.
I like the way the meeting went today, so that's all I have. Thank you.
Patty?
I've received some comments in regards to the the new web page. It's nice to see that people are already starting to utilize them, trying to get acclimated with them. There were some suggestions or wondering if we could do something different or not, but I haven't had a chance to actually maneuver through everything on it yet. But I'll see if I can go ahead and figure that out to get back to them. If not, I'll work with somebody in the office to get back to them. And then I also want to congratulate you on the appointment, and I'm really looking forward to working with you. And I do want to also thank Jeremy for his service as chairperson as well. That's it.
Jason?
Okay. Couple things. The ambulance board did meet on June 6th here, and basically it was their biannual meeting. The Johnsons had their rundown of calls and so on. Very informative meeting, very casual. Some highlights, they do have a new ambulance that they are proposing to order for 2024, but they know there's such a backlog of equipment that they may put it on a wish list. But one thing that they're very concerned about is a new drug out in the state called Tranq. It is a potent animal tranquilizer and really has the healthcare scene up in arms over it because it is not treated in a conventional way like other overdoses are. Very scary. Secondly, I would also like to elaborate on how much of a pleasure it is to have our staff up front, to Mark Clerk and all the people up front. They have been very good to me so far, and they are wonderful. And congratulations to you. Thank you.
All right, for myself, I'd like to thank you for appointing me as chair. I'd like to thank Jeremy. He's definitely got some tough shoes to fill. I'm hoping moving forward that we can work together as a board. We can we obviously don't have to agree on things all the time, but we're able to be civil and be able to work together and move things forward in the best interest of the town. So look forward to working with everybody moving forward. All right. Next agenda item is public input. People wishing to address the board will be limited to 2 minutes each, with public input limited to a total of 16 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Marge Gellerman, 5041 Witch Rock. I'm reading on this report on behalf of Jeremy. First, I would like to apologize for leaving a mess with my departure due to life changes that were out of my control. I am sending this and having someone read it for me because I feel it's important for me to give an honest behind-the-scenes opinion of what I feel should happen for the town going forward. I would like to put my full public support behind Amber France for this chairperson position that I have vacated. In working with her directly on committees and the board, she has shown nothing but true professionalism and a real care for what happens to this board, to this town of ours, and its employees. She has never been afraid to take on and tackle any issue that has come her way, no matter how it may people feel about the decision she made. She has the natural ability to put what is best for the majority of the 7,500 plus residents of Grand Rapids first, and is not afraid to lead this town and its employees without any personal agenda attached. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what Grand Rapids needs in this chairperson. I would like to now address anyone who thinks Bill Clendenning should be, or would be a good person to fill this position. I can tell you, no one can tell, I can tell you with absolute certainty that would be a huge mistake. No one can tell me he has made a positive impact on moving Grand Rapids forward. He loves to sit in meetings with no one is looking and no cameras are rolling, and act like everything is good, only to pivot completely once the camera is rolling. He loves to sit in the budget meetings and agree with everything that goes in the budget and say very little during these meetings, only to vote against it when it comes time to approve it, and say we didn't add certain things for certain groups that support him and his previous re-election. That man has sucked more money in per diems out of that town with zero return on your investment. His action over the last 3 weeks have proven he is not interested in anything that is good for the town. He is only interested in his personal agenda. I do not feel he is mentally capable of leading this town and its employees, and has proven that he, by going rogue with his recent actions. The town and its employees should demand his resignation immediately. I guarantee that action would show huge results right away. Now for Patty Lumbee. How could you sit back and let that man do what he did? You know Robert's rules and know that should never have happened. Shame on you and your actions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another supervisor of the town should demand a resignation from. She has proven to me over the 2.5 years I was on the board that she is not a leader and is not interested in moving Grand Rapids forward. Her not stopping Bill's action these last couple weeks only cement my opinion of her. I put in charge of a committee over a year ago, and she still will not hold a meeting for that committee because she is scared that people will question her. This is not the action of a leader or someone who is willing to make the best decision for the majority of the town because she's afraid of little controversy. I guarantee you will not see these kinds of actions out of Amber France. Speaking directly to Bill and Patty, you two have done more in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks to crush employees' morale and give reasons for residents to question, with good reason, the legitimacy of this board, and I ask that you finally do something good for this town and turn your resignations and let people with no personal agendas fill these seats and take this town into the future behind the leadership of Amber France. Sincerely, Jeremy Eichhorn.
Hi.
I'm Jeannie Hammond, 6320 Point Place in Grand Rapids. I would strongly recommend the board to take under consideration Mr. Pyatt's request. This is not the first time that Mr. Clendenning has acted inappropriately as a board member. And I can't go into the details because what happened was in closed session, but there's another board member here when I was on the board that would probably corroborate what I said. But I think it's time that people really stop and look at what's happening. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment?
Yeah.
Yep.
Rick Austin, 6310 64th Street South. As most of you know, I've got about 15 days left here. I've been on this board for 40 years, and that's the worst supervisor I've ever encountered right there. That's all I've got to say.
Just an observation, I could hear all those comments, so once in a while I can't hear your comments up there. And I don't know how it's, I'm gonna go home and listen to it online here and to see how they come through on the microphone. But just be aware of that, huh? You got an audience here, so, thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
First, congratulations, Amber.
Thank
look forward to working with you. A little bit, and I really like your intent, trying to bring the board back together. In Bill's and Patty's defense, I will say one thing that I was privy to. I think what they were trying to do was do what you did tonight in front of that camera so that everybody could see it. I know that meeting, that special meeting, was extremely awkward. Some of us that were there were sitting there wondering what was going on, but. And the second thing I wanted to bring up is I know you've got the review of the town roads. I had talked to Jeremy about this some time back, but former DOT, Ron's former DOT, Tom over here, the DOT has a program set up. It's available for any county or any township in the state to use. It might take you a little bit to get it set up, but you evaluate all your town roads. You come up with a numerical classification for that road. So it'll really assist you when you're sitting back trying to put a budget together for what you need to do for town road improvement. And from what I see, some of our town roads are really suffering this year. I think we've let a lot of them go too long. But the regional director for the DOT lives in the township. His name is Matt Bronson. And he told me that he'd be more than willing to help the town get that set up and running. I think it'd be a good tool for you for the future.
Madam Chairman?
Yep.
Is the program you're referring to the PACER road rating?
It's a road rating. I'm not sure what they call it now.
It's done every other year. This is a road rating year. We have the capability, or I should say I have the capability of going on the DOT website and I print out what the roads were rated 2 years ago.
Okay.
And then our road crew goes out and they reevaluate and I put all those numbers in. So it's done every other year and this is a PACER
So you're
rating year.
thinking you have something like that right now,
Yes.
Jewel?
It used to be called Whistler. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have a rating system in.
I left like close to 20 years ago, so, but yeah. They do have
I've been
that.
doing it for over 20 years, every other year, inputting the data after they go out and rate them, so we do have that system in place.
Any other comment?
Jeff, if we could just, I'd like to introduce Jeff. You could introduce yourself. He's a member of the county board, but he represents our 11th ward. And to remind you, there's 5 county board supervisors that represent the town of Grand Rapids. And he's one of them, and he's here tonight.
My name is Jeff Penscover. I'm the Wood County Board Supervisor for District 11, the ward of Grand Rapids, 11. Basically, it's Burin and a small slice of Wisconsin Rapids. I'm attending tonight just because I thought I would see what goes on at these meetings and kind of introduce myself. When the information's public, if anybody needs to get a hold of me, it's pretty easy to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yep.
Thank you. Hi, Emily Randberg, 4620 61st Street South. I just have to say, and no offense to anyone in this room, but as one of the youngest people sitting in here right now, if you would like to see this town flourish and keep young people and young families like myself around here benefiting your town and the people in it, it's time to start listening to the people who are keeping this place afloat. And it's time to start taking care of those people, because single-handedly those people are running this place while you are single-handedly running it into the ground. Just looking at this general vicinity over here. Thank you.
Keith Lupke, 6511 Batavia Avenue. I would just like to reiterate what that gentleman said about hearing. I have a deficiency. I have my hearing aids turned up to the maximum. When you, the board members, speak to each other away from us, can't we shift this around or put a PA system in here so people with disabilities can hear it. I just don't, every word sounds to me like, especially you, Amber, I really have a hard time. I know you're a soft-spoken gal, but we need to address that for people sitting in these meetings. I've been coming here for 2 years, and I have to go home and watch it on television so I can pull out what I missed while I was here. So I'd appreciate the board addressing that issue.
Thank you.
It ain't just you guys doing that, it's typical of these type of get-togethers, you know, so.
Okay, thank you for the feedback. Any other public comment? Okay, thank you. All right, next agenda item is future agenda items. Outside of,
I had something written down for the supervisor vacancy.
Yep.
And I believe that was discussed as a next agenda item.
yep. Anything else? Okay. Next agenda item is the Grand Rapids Town Board may go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85 1G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategies to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, for the purpose